Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. It is the 11th of April, 2023. And I have in my head quite a little famous saying from one of my favourite YouTubers, who is Sean Cannell, who heads up Think Media. So anybody that's on social media, particularly YouTube, Think Media is the most extraordinary resource that helps you with being able to decide what camera to buy, what tripod you need, what microphone you need. He's just like this encyclopedia of technical help for people like me that don't necessarily know much. And he's just a great human being, I think, heads up a whole team. But Sean's famous saying is, you've just got to press record. You've just got to press record. And that's how it feels today, because there are so many things that I could read on. There are so many subjects bubbling up that I literally don't know where to start. So you've just got to press record and let's just see what we can get through in one session without this becoming too long. And then I will come back and I will refocus on particular topics that deserve a video in their own right. I will tell you some of the videos that I'm going to be doing soon. When I was on holiday, I've got 5 pages of notes that came to me in a download in terms of what is discernment? How do we discern? We're living in times where you and I, including myself in this, we're being told we need to learn discernment. We need to learn discernment. Well, how do you do that? So yeah, I've got about 4 or 5 pages of notes on that. That probably will be the video after this one. There's also an unexpected new twin flame video coming out quite soon as well. So if you're interested in that energy, stay tuned. There are various Heart Squad energies that want to come through. When I was away, Freddie Mercury was just everywhere, so I'm wanting to explore why. I mean, it was lovely to have him along, and he says he likes a freebie. He likes a holiday, does Freddie, so he likes a good time. But it was a bit more than that. There's something else in that. Michael Jackson I plan to do a new video with soon as well. And I think Michael wants to come through and talk about the urgency in our midst with regards to the indoctrination of children, with regards to various things in our society. I'm going to leave it there for now because I don't want to get into it in this video. But Michael's quite concerned about that. And I don't know what else, country-specific videos probably. But those are the ones that are bubbling under. I also want to look at Marianne Williamson, RFK, is he called RFK? I think he is, who's just thrown his hat into the ring for the Democratic nomination against Biden. We might look at that in this video. We'll see how we go. Before we do anything, let us just breathe and let me tell you about a vision that I had on Easter Sunday. It was a very, very short vision. It was literally like, it was just a scene that was shown to me as I was waking up in the morning. In fact, I had woken up, and then when you're in bed and you're trying to get up, but you think, 5 more minutes. And actually what was in my mind was I need to get up because Mum's coming round, I need to cook dinner. So I wasn't thinking about work, I wasn't thinking about anything other than I'm a bit tired, I want to sleep, I need to get up and cook. And into that environment, I suddenly got a snapshot of the clearest vision I think I've ever had. Now, it could be tied into Michael Jackson. It could be tied into lots of things. I'll just tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you why it could be linked into Michael as well. It was of Excalibur, okay? It was of Excalibur. So Excalibur is the holy sword, the sword of justice, the sword of truth, the sword of clarity, the one that the Lady of the Lake guards, okay? And in Arthurian legend, of course, it was only King Arthur that could take the sword from the stone. And on his demise, the sword is thrown back into the lake, and it's like when it rises again, whoever claims it is special indeed, okay? The return of King Arthur type energy. Now, what I saw was Excalibur. I saw the lake. What was interesting was I didn't see the hand coming out of the lake. I didn't see the Lady of the Lake. I just saw the lake and it was completely tranquil, completely, it was just a very peaceful scene. Remember, this was Easter Sunday I saw this. So the lake and then Excalibur, and the point of the sword was balancing with complete precision on the water without really piercing the water. So it wasn't sinking, it wasn't rising from the water, it wasn't sinking into the water. It was just like a ballerina is able to pirouette on the smallest little tip of her toes. The sword was just there on the lake. Now, what I was told was the sword is only visible to those at the right frequency that can see it. So there are many that cannot see it, but if you're at the right frequency, you can. And it's not so much to do with one person yielding the sword and coming back as saviour or hero. It's the energy of many being chosen to wield this sword. And Metatron's saying the sword is available in many different times and dimensions and spaces to many people all at once. But as I say, only if you're at the right frequency to be able to see it. So this is a tool that is being given to us, to humanity. I haven't yet done anything via meditation with going in and trying to take it myself. We might do that, we might not. But I just feel at the moment, Metatron's saying it's there more as a symbol at the moment. It's literally meant to be there as a vision of hope and inspiration, and it's like a way shower in itself. Why I mention the Michael Jackson energy is that those of you that have been with me a long time, I've channeled Michael many, many times. In fact, I'm quite proud to say that I was one of the very few people in our community, I'm talking here the spiritual community, that at the time Leaving Netherland came out, the week it came out, I felt like a very lonely voice. I was one of the voices that said, he's innocent, it's all made up. Watch Square One if you haven't. You'll soon work that one out if you haven't already. But the point is that one of the visions Michael kept giving me repeatedly a few years ago was Excalibur and the sword. And he said that when the sword would rise would be the fall of particularly the entertainment industry, because that was his, niche. But it's more than just the entertainment industry, it's linked into mass media as well. So mass media, entertainment industry. So I just wonder whether it's linked to that. I mean, it is crumbling, we know that, but this feels as though this is an extra bit of oomph, as it were. Or maybe it's a more general message, which leads me on to wanting to pull some cards on it now. Now I'm going to use two decks. I'm going to use Art Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle, which has the sword. This was the one that I saw after seeing the vision and thought I need to go to this deck and pull. And I haven't, so I'm going to do that live on camera with you now. But also I have got a new deck that don't think I've used much with you. It's called the Water Temple Oracle by Suzy, Cherub. And I just went to get this out of the box. I haven't even shuffled it yet. But what's interesting is that this is the card on the bottom of the deck. And it says the Isle of Glass. And it says sovereignty. And it says, I shine my light of wisdom. And I don't know whether she's meant to be standing on water, but I'm going to interpret it that she is. Because this also feels like it's the rise of the divine feminine consciousness across our world. And it's she who is wielding the sword. Now let's not get hung up on, sexuality in terms of whether people are male, female, etc., gender rather than sexuality. Because remember, a man also has the divine feminine energy in him. But it's as though whoever picks up this sword, which is you, it's me, if of the right frequency, we can only do so when we have merged and integrated this beautiful divine feminine energy into us. And she feels quite bridal to me. It feels like a bridal energy. It's as though the bride is ready. The ceremony is about to begin. And here she is with her sword. And Yeah, number 8, the Isle of Glass, sovereignty. I shine my light of wisdom. I also love the fact, I've got to say this, guys, this is blowing my mind because I've never even seen this card before. Those of you that have watched my JFK Jr. videos and also my last Twin Flame video, I said something along the lines of, I felt that Princess Diana's energy is very linked into the, the Lady of the Lake. And is it just me? I don't know whether this is focusing, so apologies if it's not. But this figure here looks like an elderly version of Diana. And please, dear God, do not come at me and say that's because Princess Diana is alive and is about to rise from the ashes and reappear. I'm not wishing to offend anybody, but I do not see that happening because I know that she is dead. But, you know, in spirit, we change as well. Why can't Diana come forward as an older version of herself, as the crone, as the wise woman? It's like she's set in stone here at 3D level in our earth, as the ever youthful woman. But here she's representing herself as an older, I want to say crone, okay, the older crone energy. But whether you see this as Diana or whether you see this as yourself or somebody else, here we've got the depiction of the feminine, who's ringing the phone at the moment. Yes, we can hear you. Pick up the phone, pick up the sword. Right, I think I will just pull another card from this deck. We're still going to go with this vision that I had of Excalibur rising. And then I'm going to go back to the other deck. Okay, so let's just see. Anything else to go with the Isle of Glass? The Isle of Glass. Try not to get distracted because all my 80s references are flying in of Blondie, you know, Heart of Glass. But maybe there's something in that. Maybe I'm meant to bring in the energy of Blondie and Heart of Glass because actually it's a brilliant song. If you think about the heart in terms of being of glass, or let's change it to smashing through the glass ceiling, okay, in terms of what we think is possible. The sword smashing through the glass ceiling to what is possible, to becoming visible. And it's at a higher level, but it's because we've been able to meet it at a higher level. But equally, the heart being made of glass, if we can shatter the glass walls around our heart, that may be very significant as well. I'm just wondering what the lyrics are to Heart of Glass and if there's anything else that I'm missing. So let's just have a quick look. Okay, it's a love song. No, there's nothing else I'm taking from that song. I think it's more the impression just of the glass heart. I'm also now being shown the energy of Beauty and the Beast. And I think I'm right in saying that in that film, or certainly in the merch that they sell for it, isn't there a red rose that's often in a glass container? So it's as though you've got to break through, you've got to break through the glass to get to the rose. And the rose represents the heart consciousness. And when we're in our heart consciousness, we're in our sovereignty. Okay. But this Isle of Glass, it's just so linked into what I've been channeling over the last couple of months in terms of mythical time. And it feels as though feel as though we're treading on glass or we're treading on ice. It's as though, is it going to crack? Is it going to support us? But yet it can and it will if, again, we have the right frequency and the right faith and the right belief. There's a lot in that card. I'm sorry, but that really feels like Princess Diana. The more I look at that card, and she has got a crown on her head. So whatever the creator of this deck meant by this card, I'm picking up the Princess Diana energy. And it's interesting because, of course, King Charles is going to be crowned on May the 7th, I think it is. It's coming up quite quickly. And I believe that Camilla, they've just dropped Queen Consort, which is what she was going to be called. And what the Queen, the late Queen, had agreed that Camilla was always going to be called, Queen Consort. And I think Charles has now said, no, she's just going to be, it's going to be Queen. So it's King and Queen about to be anointed. And I'll do a much longer video on King Charles's coronation, for sure. I'm really looking forward to doing that. But there is this other queen in another land, in the energy of mythical time, who is also ruling over a domain. Wow, okay. What goes with that card, please? Red Tara, Revolution. Right. I shuffled the cards twice, and I did see this on the bottom of the pack. So this has come up now. This is a definite confirmation that this goes with this. Okay? Whether this is Diana or whether it's a representation of any other queen, including yourself as queen. And don't get caught up in, you know, royalty and whether you want them or not. This is to do with you being a queen or a king of your own world. Okay? This is what is represented here. So Red Tara, Revolution. I am a fierce warrior of love. You see, Diana always talked about wanting to be the Queen of Hearts, the Queen of People's Hearts, the People's Princess. Fighting for love. Fighting for love. We've got the energy. This is definitely Diana I've got here. It's definitely the Diana's energy in mythical time, behind the veil, fighting for love, helping to fight for justice. I'm going to bring back the energy of Michael Jackson now as well, because Diana and Michael Jackson, very linked. This is also linked into the children, trying to save the children, help the children. I want to read what it says about Red Tara, card number 41. Let's see what the deck actually says. So it says this. I mean, if you actually put the two titles of these two cards together, in many ways they say it all, because this card is sovereignty and this card is revolution. There is going to be a revolution of sovereignty. That's what my vision was about. That's what my vision was about. That's why I saw Excalibur. To those that are at the right frequency. It says, Tara's love is like the wind. You can't see it, but you can feel it. The heart of Tara arouses love, passion, and spiritual meaning. She reminds us that love is an action, not just a word or a feeling. Absolutely. Again, Easter Sunday. Love is an action, not just a word. How many people might have stood in church, for example, but then leave that church and do not behave in a godly way, do not behave in a lovely way or a loving way, do not love their neighbour as themselves, do not do unto others as they would do, whatever the expression is, do unto others as you would be done to. You know, that's my mantra that I try to live by. Don't do to anybody else what you wouldn't want done to you. All the teachings of Christ consciousness, how many people are actually doing that? Love is an action, not just words. Okay, it's not just words. You've actually got to do it. So here it says, Tara congratulates you for keeping your eyes on a goal. Throughout snowstorms and challenges, you galloped ahead with faith in action. You are a force to behold, and your steadfastness and devotion fuel your higher mission. You choose to hunt for creative solutions and move on from problems. Ignite your sense of justice and higher purpose to fire up your warrior spirit. As an awakened rebel, your intentions align with honourable quests, such as climate action, equality, and unity. So here we've got the energy of leadership, of the warrior, of the queen. Sovereignty, a revolution of sovereignty. How beautiful is that? That's what my vision was about. Okay, I'm going to pull two more cards from this deck, and then we'll move on to other messages that want to come through in this video, because I want to cover off a few different things. Okay, so Anything else to say, please, with regards to the energy that I'm tapped into right now? The vision of Excalibur. A new door is opening. Step over the threshold. We've also got the energy of seek a wise elder. Lord of Lioness, it says here. But I'm going to read these cards intuitively, the way I want to read them. To me, that feels like an energy of Arthur himself, King Arthur, or any other template of masculinity that has elder wisdom within it. I also think it looks very Moses-like. Again, my trip to the mountains very much could feel the energy of Moses, the elder, the wise one. Whilst down on the mountain in biblical times, they were all turning towards the golden calf and worshipping that, and the energy of idolatry and Babylonian type energy. I think we can look at our world now and we can see a lot that is very, very wrong. A lessening of values and morality and an absence of spirituality in the heart of many nations who might profess to call themselves spiritual, but actually day to day are the people doing it. Do you know, I think I said to you, Easter Sunday, I'd felt called to go to the church service. And I have to be honest, I didn't actually go in the end. It ended up being my younger daughter and my husband who went. It was my daughter that particularly wanted to go because she likes the songs and the singing and all that type of stuff. And we used to go. My children went to a church school. It was important to me that they were brought up with some sort of moral background, that they knew the stories of a faith. And my faith that I grew up with was Christianity. So I wanted to have them to have a foundation from which they could then explore whatever they wanted to. Okay, whatever they wanted to. It wasn't going to put them into a straitjacket that you have to be this, you have to stay a Christian for the rest of your life. It was more just, there is a foundation of something, a set of values that they can then learn from and grow from. But yeah, we used to go quite regularly when they were younger. It used to be that you had to go there to get into the school anyway. But I said to John at the weekend, I said, I would have gone there anyway, even if it hadn't been linked to the school, because it was that important to me that they had a foundation in something. Anyway, so they go off. I'm cooking Easter dinner, which is why I stayed behind. I was cooking the dinner. You can't be in two places at once. I was watching a church service on the TV, actually. We'll come to that in a moment. But I said to them, I said, you better go. You won't get a seat. You know, it's Easter Sunday. It's always busy. And they came back and they said, and this is a huge church in our town. They said there were 20 people there. And they were 20, no disrespect, very old people. And because I used to go, I probably even know the people that were still there. They would sit in the same seat in the middle of the church, bless them, you know. There was nobody else there. There was nobody there. And this is a holy day. And the point is, it's not about the fact that you've got to go to church, because I don't believe you have to go to church at all. I believe that Christ is a living energy, or anything that you believe, it's a living energy, and it's about what you do. But my point is that absence in terms of being in a building, is it then compensated for by doing something else that is spiritual or marking the holy day in any other way? And I hate to be cynical, but I think there's an awful lot of the population out there that didn't even give spirituality a second thought on Easter Sunday or on any of the other holy days. And that's what I'm really talking about here. How did I get to this? Because we were talking about Moses. And I think there's an absence of faith and spirituality. There's a big hole, basically, is what Metatron is saying. And the point is that if you actually went into any faith or any belief system, whether it's paganism, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Buddhism, whatever, it's there that you delve and you learn about yourself. You start to see people and interact with people in a different way. You bring different values in. And I think the absence of it is very concerning because there's a lack of wisdom. So the return of the elders, the return to the elders, but who are those elders in our society? And if they're not actually physically present, maybe they are figures from the past, like Moses or Arthur or anybody else, okay? So a new door is opening, step over the threshold, and I love the fact that she's a young girl, but it's as though we need the wisdom of the elders to help us. And absolutely, I include with that the Indigenous elders as well. This isn't to do with it has to be any one particular faith. I just talk about Christianity because it's what I grew up with. But it's anything that helps us to make sense of the world, that helps to bring an energy of love and unity into the world and respect for Mother Earth, etc. So, yeah, we have the new door opening. Okay. Now I'm going to turn to something completely different, and we're going to talk about a few other different subjects because, as I say, started this video with you just got to press record because there's so much going on. I'm going to pull some cards now on some other subjects. Which one to start with? I'm going to start with the subject of the day, and maybe this does lead quite nicely into it. I'm going to pull some cards on the Dalai Lama. So we were just talking about wise elders. And how old is the Dalai Lama? He's in his 80s, isn't he? Dalai Lama. He's the 14th current Dalai Lama. I don't know, I can't find off the top of my set head, but he's in his 80s anyway, I know he is. There's been a big controversy with regards to him over the last 48 hours, although I think it was quite an old piece of film. I don't know whether it's right or not. Somebody said it was from February, so maybe they tried to bury it. But anyway, it came to light around Easter time. And the video that's circulating is of a boy, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, who goes up to him to ask for a hug, I think. And he gets the hug, and he gets more than the hug. And there is this point where the Dalai Lama says, "You can suck my tongue if you want to." And of course, people have been in uproar about it because on the surface, it looks to be a certain way. I'm going to be careful how I speak on this video because there are certain words you can't say. And when I saw the piece of film, well, no, before I saw the piece of film, when I just saw the headline and the photograph, I was completely and utterly horrified, as I'm sure everybody else was, and deeply disappointed. And I just thought, oh my God, I just can't believe what I'm seeing. And I'm not ignorant to the fact that things go on in our world, but this was really, really shocking, is really shocking. Then I decided to watch the actual film. It's not very long, it's only a couple of minutes. I watched the whole interaction. And if you actually watch the whole interaction, you start to see other possible alternative explanations. I have a gut feel as to what I think was actually going on there, which I'm going to say, but I'm also going to pull some cards on it because I may or may not be right. There's a very obvious explanation, which is, oh my God, this is just gross, and it's a sexual connotation to this, and oh, you know, what on earth is happening behind closed doors if this is being shown in public. But I would just ask you to maybe watch the whole piece of film, because if you watch the whole piece of film, he's sitting up there on the stage. There's a great big audience, so this is in complete public view, and whether it's the boy or the boy's mother, it becomes clear that the boy wants to come up to him to be greeted, hugged by him, whatever. And the Dalai Lama has got two helpers, for want of a better word, two other monks, and they are trying to tell him that the boy wants to come up and to approach him. And you can see that they can't get through to him. He doesn't understand what they're saying. they have to repeat 2 or 3 times, there's a boy here and he wants to come and greet you. And you can see, what's interesting is the expression on the Dalai Lama's face is actually one of blankness. He looks quite blank. It's as though he's not actually registering what they're saying. And actually what is being said in his ear is very simple, which is like, this little boy wants to come and greet you. Is it okay? But they can't get the message through to him. Keep repeating it. And then he eventually gets it. He goes, oh, yes, okay, yeah, come on. So that's the first thing I noticed, that there's a cognitive lack that seems to not be able to understand what is happening or what is being asked of him, which I thought was a bit strange and led me to wonder whether there is a degree of mental incapacity there. And of course, in your 80s, potential is for something like dementia to maybe be setting in. Is there something wrong with his mental faculties? The interaction with the boy then is sort of like, I think he tells him to kiss his cheek, he gives him a hug, but it's all quite jokey. And people are laughing, the Dalai Lama's laughing, I think the boy's laughing, I'm not quite sure. But then there is this moment where he sticks his tongue out and he says, you can also suck my tongue. And at that point, I think you can see that the boy's body language sort of stiffens and he is uncomfortable. And that's what's caused the controversy. Now, I don't know much about the culture there. I have read that sticking your tongue out is actually a form of greeting, but obviously then going the extra mile and saying you can suck it, I'm sure that's not probably normal. My gut feel is there's something going on with him in terms of maybe dementia setting in, because it's as though he doesn't seem to understand it's inappropriate. He's in front of everybody. It's not hidden in any way. But it's also this confusing aspect to his energy field that I'm picking up. And I'm no expert on dementia, but I do believe that one aspect of it is that they can start to become inappropriate in terms of their language and their behaviour. And people can start to behave in ways that they would never have behaved before. I would like to think it's that. I don't know for sure, but that was the first energetic hit that I got when I saw it. After, as I say, having seen the headline where I thought something completely different. But then when I actually watched the film, I thought, actually, I think there might be something else energetically going on here. So we'll see. Let's pull some cards on it. And I think I'm going to just use a straight tarot deck here. And I'm going to use the After Tarot. I'm going to ask, what was the intention of asking the boy to suck his tongue? Okay, what was the intention of asking the boy to suck his tongue? We have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is a loving father type figure, emotional. The King of Cups is all about love. We've also got the Empress on the bottom of the deck, which is the energy of the mother, fertility, goodness. To me, both of these cards are what I would call good archetypes, okay? There doesn't feel as though there's anything negative or destructive about the Empress. It doesn't feel as though there's anything negative or destructive about the King of Cups, other than being maybe a bit over-emotional, over-empathic, over-sensitive, too much emotion. It's interesting here that the King of Cups is sitting up there on a throne above others in the way that the Dalai Lama was sitting above others. I'm picking up an energy here of, I think there's something going on with him. I think there's something going on with him and his health. And I'm talking about cognitive health. And I feel as though he's a little bit in and out of the clouds. By that, I'm talking about the land of confusion, what is real. What am I trying to say? I'm picking up an energy here with him of overwhelm in terms of emotions. particularly being in front of all of those people. Now, he appears to be quite used, obviously he's used to it, it's what happens all the time, but there's something going on here. Show me what's going on within his mind. Show me what's going on within his mind. Dalai Lama, show me what's going on within his mind. Ace of Pentacles. Is he being fed something? Feels as though there's something being given to him. I know this is a money card traditionally, but it feels as though I'm getting the energy of something being fed to him. A tablet, a pill. Yeah, I think he's on something. I'm not saying that he's on a drugs. It's pharmaceutical. I think there's something he's taking or something that's being given to him that is trying to help balance him. Look at this. We've got the Hanged Man here. It's like he's upside down. He can't quite make sense of... I think there's something going on with his mind. He's being offered something here. The Hanged Man is being offered something, is drinking something that's being given to him. I'm not excusing what happened, because what happened was inappropriate. And obviously there's been a public apology that's been made. And I'm not blind to the fact that it could be something else. But I'm just feeling as though there is another explanation for this. And I don't think it's just because I want there to be another explanation. I feel as though I'm being given something to say to you here. You see, this reminds me of those that know the story on the cross. When Jesus was on the cross, he was given a mixture of vinegar and I can't remember what else it was, but a disgusting drink to try to quench his thirst, but he refused it. But here, this person is actually partaking and drinking whatever this person's giving to them to try to relieve them. This card, I've never read it in this way before, but I'm feeling, again, something is being given to him to try to balance him out. I think there are people behind the scenes that know there's something going on with this guy and that he is in a state of decline cognitively. And they're trying to keep the ship afloat. But by keeping the ship afloat, they might be doing a disservice actually to his legacy and memory. There's a judgment call here. And it's hard work. Yeah, look, it is. It's hard work to... 10 of Wands, it's hard work to keep the Emperor stable. It's hard work to keep the Emperor stable. He's not stable. I think the truth of the encounter is in that first 30 seconds to a minute where they're trying to explain to him what is about to happen. Because it's pretty obvious. There's just somebody there who wants to come and greet you. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what's about to go, what's happening. At all. Yeah, healing energy with regards to the mind. And I think we are also being asked to see this from a different perspective. I might be wrong, guys, but that is what I get. Let's just pull one other card on it and then I'm going to move on to another subject. Anything else to say with regard to the Dalai Lama and that particular incident? Let's just ask the question, is there any devil energy there? Is there any devil or dark energy there? Okay, those cards have just fallen out. We've got the 3 of Cups, we've got the 8 of, what is that? The 8 of Swords, and we have got the 7 of Swords. What's on the bottom of the deck? Death. Yeah. 7 of Swords typically would be devious energy, manipulative energy, lies, So normally you would say, oh, hold on, maybe there is something else going on here. But with these other cards around it, let me just see let me just tell you what I'm being shown. They want to keep the party going, okay? What is the party? The party is they want to keep his life going. They want to keep the illusion going. It's quite similar to the energy of the Pope, actually. It's like the Pope was wheeled out pretty much nearly from his deathbed. He joked about it himself. The Pope had been in hospital a few days before Easter, and he said, I'm not dead yet. You know, it's this thing about the show must go on. But here with the Dalai Lama, it's like the show must go on. Okay, it's like it's celebration time, happy times, show must go on. But this guy is feeling trapped. And what is he feeling trapped by? He's feeling trapped by mental thoughts. And it feels as though these mental thoughts, this is the end result, the energy of death. I think there's something wrong with him. I think there's something physically wrong with him. And I think he is on the decline. Let me just pull a card for his health. I know I keep saying no more cards, but let's just do one more. Do I need a card from a different deck? No, Metatron says keep going with this one. Okay. Just, can I have one card, please, with regards to the state of his current health? Dalai Lama. State of his current health. One card. The Magician, the Fool, and the Nine. So I know when I see cards telling a story, I've got to show all of them. These were all on the bottom of the deck. So we have the Magician, we have the Fool, we have the Nine of Swords, and we have the Four of Swords. For me, I don't know about the rest of you who read tarot, but for me, often if I see the Four of Swords with the Death card, that's like a double whammy energy. And what I'm hearing now is there's going to be a couple of big religious leaders that leave this earth around the same time. The Pope is probably one of them, the Dalai Lama. I don't know how soon it is. It doesn't look like he's about to keel over, but it could just be that, I don't know. I mean, I imagine it's a bit like being a king. I know it's not the same as being a king, but can you abdicate from being the Dalai Lama? I don't think you can you? I don't know, but it feels like it's the end. There's something going on with his mind, definitely. Look at all these cards. Mental struggle, nightmares, terrors. Again, a dementia can bring that. Illusions, delusions, not knowing what's real. And these two cards feel as though, I don't know how it works, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to other people's faiths, but it feels as though behind the scenes, whoever the next Dalai Lama would be, it's as though people are starting to already look around for who that could be. And I don't know whether that's possible that two exist on the planet at the same time, but that's what I'm feeling. We're going to reinvent. We're going to reinvent. There's going to be a new Dalai Lama. This guy's time is limited, and it feels as though there's a failing mental faculty there. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to send love to the situation and healing to the little boy if he needs it. Healing to anybody that needs it who have been traumatized by that particular story, and to the Dalai Lama himself. Yeah. Okay. Where to go now? We're going to go now to a totally different subject. I think I've got room for one more subject, or maybe one or two more subjects on this video. And I would like to pull some cards on Finland having joined NATO. So I'm going to get a fresh new deck for this. Let's see what we want to use. Okay, I'm going to use the Angel Tarot. The Angel Tarot by Jayne Wallace, and our very own Jane Taylor, who did the paintings for this. So, those of you that don't know the geography of Finland, there is I'm just going to try and find the photograph that I've got of it. There is a very long border that Finland shares with Russia, I believe. Let me just pause my camera. Right, I've found the photograph, but also I've just found a little bit of blurb on it. So, yes, this is interesting. Finland became the 31st member of NATO on 4-4. So that was interesting. The 4-4 portal, they become the 31st member of NATO, i.e. 3 and 1 make 4. So it's all the 4 energy. It says doubling the alliance's border with Russia after a flag-raising ceremony in Brussels, as furious Moscow warns of countermeasures and upgrades Belarus jets so they can launch nukes. So that's just a blinking headline. Doesn't mean it's going to come true. Right, I want to show you this picture because I didn't know. So maybe you won't, particularly if you're in a different part of the world. So this is the border. So Russia in red, Finland in this blue. Can you see the length of the border? There's a big, long border that now NATO effectively can position their weapons on or soldiers on. It says the move is a strategic and political blow to Putin, who has long complained about NATO's expansion towards Russia. A Kremlin spokesman called Helsinki's move to join the bloc an encroachment on Russia's security and said the structure of NATO was hostile towards Russia. You see, this has always been Putin's gripe, that NATO are encroaching on its borders, getting closer and closer. So now with Finland joining NATO, it does feel like quite a big escalation. I would just like to pull some cards on the effect on the war, okay? That's the question I'm going to ask today. Because again, we could do a whole video on this, but let's just have a look. The effect on the war of Finland joining NATO. The effect of the war between Russia and Ukraine of Finland joining NATO. Okay, let's see what we get. The effect on the war of Finland joining NATO. Effect of the war. I'll show you what they are in a minute. I just need to get them out first. Effect on the war. Right. Give me a minute just to see what we've got here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 cards down. I know you can't see them yet. 2 of those cards are kings. We have the King of Cups and we have the King of Wands. So we've got a strengthening of the masculine energy, leadership energy. This guy feels very Finnish, for want of a better word. It's just the colouring, really. I mean, I shouldn't even say that now. I'm sure there's Finns of all colours and creeds, which is good. But traditionally, I don't know, he just feels a bit Viking-like to me, that guy. King of Wands. Double king with strength. Double king energy with strength. What is the effect on the war? I'm hearing doubling down. There's a doubling down. You see, whenever I've pulled cards on the war, I've always got Zelensky and Putin as two competing kings, neither of whom shall budge. And I'm just hearing doubling down. What other cards have we got here? We've got the Hermit, we've got the Eight of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. I don't know really what these cards are saying, guys. What are they trying to say? The Hermit with the Eight of Pentacles. You see, I might be wrong here. Was there a referendum on whether to join NATO? I don't believe there was. I might be wrong there. Apologies if I am. But I'm getting the feeling that it was rushed through. I think I said that on another video. It feels as though it was rushed through, this joining NATO. So maybe now there's going to be reflection. Because it doesn't feel as though there was a lot of reflection beforehand in terms of was this actually a good move or not for us? Was this actually a good move for us as a country, Finland? Was this actually a good move for NATO? Was this actually a good move to help bring peace to the war or not? But it feels as though there's going to be a lot of reflection. There's a lot of work to do. I'm hearing backpedaling. There's going to be a lot of backpedaling. I'm feeling as though I'm being shown quite a long timeline here, though. It feels as though I'm going a couple of years into the future. It feels a bit like Brexit. Without wishing to get into the ins and outs of Brexit, it feels as though that has caused a lot of reflection, for good, for bad, for worse, for better, whatever. It's like it's easy in hindsight to maybe see things a little bit more clearly. What were we actually voting on? What were we being sold? Was it a good idea? Was it not? This is a bit like, this is the energy I'm getting here. It's as though there's going to be a lot of reflection on this within Finland as to whether this was actually a good idea. I just feel like it emboldens both of them. And I'm talking Putin and Zelensky. Let me have one card for the war itself, and then I'll clarify that Page of Wands. Show me one card for the energy of the war itself, now that Finland has gone in. So if war is an energy, if just focusing on war as an energy, show me the effect of Finland joining NATO. Seven of Pentacles, vision, money cards coming in. Vision, Seven of Pentacles, vision. What does that mean? Explain, please. What does this mean? I don't know if I've got the right deck here. Let's stick with it. See if I can get anything else. What is the effect on the war of Finland joining? Departure, Eight of Cups. I think somebody might pay for it in terms of Finnish politics. I don't even know who the Prime Minister of Finland is. There's just been an election there, hasn't there? I think I'm right in saying that. Wasn't... Oh, gosh. Where's my phone? Let's just see who's in power in Finland now. Was that the lady that's just been voted out of power? Or am I in a different country? Finland PM is... Oh yeah, I'm right. Sanna Marin. Yeah, she's just lost, hasn't she? Yeah, she just lost. She just lost power. Did she try and force it through? Was it her who tried to force it through? Well, if so, that explains her departure. It was her vision. If it's not her, whoever's vision it was, it feels as though they're going to be out. Whether it's now or whether it's in the, near future. But as a result of this, I'm hearing being sold a dud. You've been sold a dud. What I'm not getting is the effect it really has on the actual war itself. I'm not being shown that. I have got the Page of Wands, which is ideas. And to ask for clarification on this Page of Wands, ideas. What does that mean in relation to what we are asking about? seemed like a good idea is what I'm hearing. It seemed like a good idea to join. The devil. Look at that depiction of the devil card, and it's linked into freedom. Somehow it was going to give us a greater freedom. We were going to feel more free by having joined NATO. Not with the devil card, no. Careful what you wish for. You're enchained here to a higher beast. All that glitters is not golden. Don't like these cards for Finland. I don't like these cards for Finland. It's interesting. It's as though I'm not being shown really the impact it has on the actual war. I'm more being shown the impact that it has on the country of Finland. Because all I'm being shown is that it emboldens both Putin and Zelensky, who both seem to gain strength from it. It riles Putin up even more. Zelensky feels more powerful because Finland's border is there now. But for the people of the country itself, I'm just hearing it seemed like a good idea at the time. Sold a dud. A lot of reflection to do. Now it's done. The deed is done. And the one in control, it's like this devil energy. Paying Peter to pay Paul. I don't know if that translates across different countries. It's like taking money from here to pay for this here. So it feels as though there's money that's going to be now absorbed and taken away from the Finnish people that could be better served elsewhere. And I guess it's been sold because of protection. You're going to be protected. But at what cost? Got the Angel of Freedom tied up here. Sorry guys, I know I have Finnish followers as well, so let's try and end on a bright note for you. Let's have some words of inspiration please then for the people of Finland. What guidance and support can come forward please now, Spirit, for the people of freedom. Just as the bird, could you hear the bird then? We've got the card of friendship with indifference. These people are not your friends, is what I'm hearing. These people are not your friends. These people are not your allies. I'm being shown the states around Finland, which would be, let me just get my little trusty map up again. I guess countries such as Norway, Sweden, Germany, Austria, you know, countries around this part of the world. These are more, but it would be the ones that aren't in NATO. I don't know who's in NATO and who isn't in NATO, but I'm hearing the states that aren't already in NATO. These are more your brethren. So this new friendship that's been offered, this NATO friendship, I've got the energy here of indifference. I think it's been sold that it's going to make a big difference day to day in people's lives, that there's going to be a lot of benefits to this. And it is a bit like Brexit. A few years on, it's like, well, what are the benefits? When are they going to start happening? Have we got any benefits or not? And I'm not trying to be contentious there, because some people say, absolutely, of course we've got benefits. We're not blah, blah, blah. But a lot of other people on the street, if you actually went out into the street and asked people, a lot of people would say, well, what have we got? What have we got? Just seems to be that prices are a lot dearer and, you know, what have we got? So I'm talking about the feeling on the street here. There's just an energy of, well, okay, we've got this new friendship group that we're now in, but we're a bit indifferent to it. I also feel as though it's not a very good fit. It's not a very good fit culturally with the people. And I love the fact that we've got the dolphin here, because I'm being shown fish. And I think the Finns are very good on eating fish, aren't they? And it just feels as though it's chalk and cheese type energy. Chalk and cheese type energy. It doesn't feel like a natural fit at all to have joined. I think there's going to be friction over the years. It's going to be very slow to build up trust. Very slow to build up trust. And we've got the Hanged Man. And then we've got the energy of theft. Yeah, it just feels as though there's been sold a lie, or something's been taken away. Maybe sovereignty to a degree. So back to what I was saying at the start of this video about Excalibur and the sword. My advice to people in Finland who are resonating with what I'm saying here is pick up that sword, okay? That sword of truth, of justice. Wield it peacefully. Live your life honourably. Don't turn away from who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, what's important to you culturally. Stay true to yourself. Don't allow yourself to become part of some homogenised bloc that doesn't actually represent you very well. You see, this bull, this card of trust, that bull looks quite suspicious to me. Quite suspicious. 2 more cards, guidance for Finland, and then we're going to close out. Finland. Nine of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands, comfort and inspiration. Can you have both? Can you be both comfortable and be inspired? That's a question for all of us, isn't it? Can you be inspired in the comfort zone? So I guess it's going to teach something to the nation. You are out of comfort zone. You're now aligned with states and nations that you've never been before. The map has been withdrawn. Sorry, that's an interesting thing. I wanted to say the map has been redrawn, but I said withdrawn. Don't quite know what that means at this moment, but the map has been redrawn. The map has been withdrawn. Is it possible to exit NATO? Maybe. Maybe it fires people up in a certain way, and at some point in the future it's like, actually, we thought we wanted this, we don't, we're going to exit it. I wonder if there's going to be a movement in your country to try and get yourselves back out of it. I know it's very early days. I'm definitely seeing parallels with UK and Brexit, even though they're totally different things. Because there are some people here in this country who's like, well, maybe we should go back in. And I know there's a lot of people in the UK now watching me saying, no, Amanda, we don't want that. I'm just saying what conversations are happening around the country, that type of thing. I'm picking up on consciousness. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But it's this thing about, are you in, are you out? Whether it's something like Brexit, whether it's something like NATO. Final card, you will be guided as a country, the Star. But the Star card is the angel of hope here, but it's also about you need to know what it is that you want. And I feel as though people have rushed into this decision, or people on behalf of other people have rushed into this decision from a place of fear and from a period of great dysfunction and dissatisfaction in our world, regards on the back of the pandemic, where people haven't really got back up on their feet. But there is hope. There is hope. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there because I have a place to be soon. And I need to go and have my lunch. I hope you found today's video interesting. I will be back this week with another video for you. I think I might bring the discernment video through next. But also, as I say, I'm going to be doing a video on King Charles's coronation. Looking forward to that. Some Heart Squad stuff. Marianne Williamson, RFK. Anything else, just let me know. Oh, and of course, the emergency broadcast that's going to be taking place on the 23rd of April. Is that Europe-wide? It's certainly in the UK. We're going to have an emergency broadcast rung on all of our mobile phones. But I'm going to find a way to basically turn it off. I'm sure there will be a way. But interesting that it's going to be happening on St. George's Day and St. George and the Dragon. Okay, so we're gonna fight back against all of those fear tactics. I'm not having it. Not in my house anyway. Take care, guys. Lots of love. Nice to be back. Thank you for all of your support. Greatly appreciated. Please like and share this video. Bye-bye for now. Bye.